And we're back. I hope everyone had a great holiday weekend, enjoyed a little time off, and now it's time to get back into things. Today I'm going to talk about as within, so without. We hear so much about the maxim as above, so below, but we don't often hear about the flip side of that. So, let's get into it. So we've talked a lot about magic on this channel, how it works, why it fails, and it's time we go a little more in depth. And by that I mean deep within the self, and examine the transmutation process that should be occurring within your operation. As within, so without simply states that the internal has an effect on the external. Therefore, every time you step into the circle, it should be the goal that by the time you leave the circle, you yourself have changed in some way. And we're going to talk about how to do that. Many novice practitioners will think that simply because they've pronounced the words correctly, made the right gestures, and vibrated the corresponding God names, that that's all it takes to affect change in their world. And this is what I was talking about when I mentioned getting hung up on structure. Too much emphasis on form and not enough emphasis on force. Going through the motions like some type of instruction manual checklist. And this can lead to lackluster performance while doing your operation. So let's talk a little bit about performance for a moment. We've already discussed how everything that we're doing is symbolic in some way, and that symbolism is the language of the subconscious. So yes, form is important, but if you step inside the circle to represent your true will and you give a lackluster performance and are just going through the motions, that in of itself is also symbolic. It's symbolic of a weak will. That's the first thing that we need to understand with as within, so without. If you're performing your magical operation as if you don't care, why should the universe or anyone else care for that matter either? When you are inside your sacred magic circle, you need to be commanding, authoritative, and dramatic. It's the one thing that Hollywood magicians and wizards got right. Their flair for the dramatic. Be energetic. Be over the top. If you're there to express your true will, then express it. Get it out. Get all that energy that you have inside for that which you desire out into your circle so that we can use it for the next part. This is why we've discussed having your own ritual space, temple, room, or some place that you can be alone to do your operation. It's more difficult to be over the top and dramatic if you think that someone's going to walk in or listen to you doing it. It will make you self-conscious, perhaps making you a little bit quieter than you would normally be, being a little more reserved and holding back, when we need to be as expressive and get it out as much as we can. So for those of you who are afraid of being loud and too noisy, afraid you're going to wake someone up, and you have to keep your voice down, make sure you're being as expressive as you can with the rest of you. Get your body into it. Make grand gestures, because you're going to have to make up for it. We discussed long ago that everything is an input and an output system. We had the desire within, and now we've expressed it and released it into our circle. And now we need to transmute it and bring it back within. So when we begin our operation, we have this desire, we have this need for something, and we need to really hone in on how it makes us feel. What are the emotions that this need is causing us? And those are what we are to be expressing as we're doing our operation. But as we're performing our magical operation and we're releasing all of this emotional energy, we need to start replacing it and transmuting it. And we do this by visualizing the thing that we lack and are wanting from not having it to having it, as if it's already ours, as if it's already come to pass, while simultaneously transmuting our emotions of not having and lacking the thing that we desire to the emotions of peace and gratitude for having the thing that we desire. Essentially, we are releasing that desire and want as the output, and the new input that we're bringing in is peace and gratitude for having it. Happiness, joy, peace, gratitude. How would it make you feel once you have it? And that's the force that we need to bring into ourselves by the time we leave the circle. You are not casting magic on the external to change the external. You are casting it upon yourself and changing yourself internally to change the external. And you can see how this is symbolic of as within, so without. For how are you going to change that which is without if you cannot change that which is within? Very important. More important than all your memorizations and pronunciations is the emotional force that you're using and transmuting. How you feel stepping into your circle compared to how you feel stepping out. The change that has happened in you will affect the corresponding external change as well. As within, so without. So, by the time you leave your circle and your magical operation is complete, you should no longer have any desire or want for whatever it is that you were casting for, because you already have it, and should feel as if you already have it. We've already exhausted and released our desires and wants through our dramatic expression and got it all out there. And we've transmuted that into the joy, peace, and gratitude that that which we desired is already ours. It is already done. And this is going to help us with our lust for results. There shouldn't be any. It should have already been put out there and replaced with the peace and certainty that it's already come to pass. Remember the law of least expectance. If you're still thinking about it, that's evidence of you still holding on to it, and also evidence that your subconscious isn't working on it. By the time your operation is finished, you should have the confidence and faith that it's already handled, and dwell no more on it. This is an alchemical process. This is magic. This is how you pray. And it's this process of transmutation within yourself that's going to do wonders to change the world around you according to your will. A strong, commanding will. As within, so without. I'm Frater Xavier, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening, and take care.